I'm Carly.
And I'm Frank. And welcome
to Elon Eats.
Today, Elon students, we have a special treat for you guys.
All the way from Argentina.
Tarta de coco and dulce de leche.
What does that mean, Frank?
Cake from Argentina that's made of coconut and dulce de leche.
That sounds great.
It is.
For this recipe, you will need 2 cans of dulce de leche, butter, coconut, eggs, flour, and sugar.
First, we're going to start by making the dough. For the dough, you need 1 cup of flour and 2/3 cups of butter.
You need half a cup of sugar and 1 egg.
Then you're going to mix all those together.
And you're going to freeze it for 15 minutes. So first, you're going to melt the butter.
While Frank's over there melting the butter, we're going to start by mixing the dry ingredients. First, you need 1 cup of flour. After that, you're going to put in half a cup of sugar. Here we're using confectionery sugar, which works just as well. Then, we're going to crack 1 egg. All right, now we're ready for the butter. Frank? Perfect. Now we're going to whisk that gently. So, like we said before, after we make this dough, we're going to put it in the freezer for 15 minutes. While that's in the freezer, we're going to start making the filling. This looks great.
Once you have a solid dough, take it over to the freezer and let it rest for 15 minutes.
So at about the same time that you put the dough in the freezer, you should preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Preheating the oven usually takes about 10 to 15 minutes, so it times up perfectly with how long the dough is in the freezer. While the dough is in the freezer, we're going to start making the icing. That consists of coconut, sugar, and eggs. So we're going to go ahead and mix all those together.
I'm going to put 1 cup of coconut. Then we're going to add 3 eggs and half a cup of sugar.
Here you go, Frank.
Thank you.
Race ya.
It's not fair.
Look, one-handed. That worked better in Top Chef.
And don't forget to add the half a cup of sugar. Then,
Great.
like you do with the other, whip this.
With a whisk.
With a whisk. So Carly, while we wait for the dough, have you ever been to Argentina?
No, Frank, I've never been to Argentina. Wait, isn't that where you're from?
No, I'm from Peru.
Oh.
But I've been to Argentina a couple of times. It's a great place, and you should definitely try to go one time.
Is all the food this good?
It's excellent.
It's important to prep the pan so that when you're cutting the bars at the end, they come out easily. You can do that with just a stick of butter and some flour. You can either put the butter onto a paper towel so that it goes on evenly, or you can go straight from the stick. You want to make sure that you get the sides of the pan because that's where it's easiest to stick. You want to get an even layer of butter on the bottom and the sides and the corners. That's an important part to remember. It doesn't have to be perfect, but once it's spread kind of evenly, you can get some flour and sprinkle it in the pan.
That's good.
If you get too many clumps of flour, it's easy to just shake out the pan so that the butter is evenly covered.
Remember, this part is essential. So after 15 minutes, we can take out the dough. It should be about ready. Yep, just perfect. And we can then proceed to take the dough and putting it into the pan that Carly so delicately prepared.
Oh, stop it, Frank. But you want to make sure when you're putting the dough into the pan that you're not kneading it roughly. As you can see, we're using our fingers to spread out the dough and make sure it covers all parts of the pans. You want to make sure that it's even all the way across so that it will bake all the way through in the same way in all the areas. Because if one side is thicker, it won't cook. Perfect. Ready to go in the oven.
Now, we're going to take this and we're going to let it bake for about 15 minutes. As you can hear, the oven's beeping. I'm going to go pick up the dough that's already baked. Woo!
That looks perfect. After you take the dough out of the oven, you're going to cover it in dulce de leche. Mmm. As you can see, the consistency is very thick. But once it goes onto the hot dough, it'll sink in to form a nice, moist layer.
Now that we've finished covering it with the dulce de leche, Carly, can you just please pour the icing on top, please?
Once you put it on, you're going to spread it out evenly so that it covers the entire pan. You know it's good if there's a lot of butter. After the coconut icing is on top, we're going to put it back in the oven for about 10 to 20 minutes. The oven is still on 350 degrees.
Bake well, little baby. Carly, I think it's ready.
It smells so good.
Let's see how it came out.
Be careful, don't burn yourself. Oh, wow.
Looks just right.
The butter is glistening.
And the dulce de leche just looks really, really good.
Mmm. Should we try some?
Definitely. Cut.
How is it?
Perfecto. I'm Frank.
And I'm Carly. Thanks so much for joining us tonight on Elon Eats.